gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you are listening to the most electrifying podcast in all of internet radio today. You are listening to the Sportswire. My name is Vinny Appizzella, and I'm here with you. Today is Tuesday, November 5th, 2019. I want to remind all of you to go out there and vote if there's elections in your local municipalities for mayor and alderman and whatever. I know in my hometown of New Britain, Connecticut, we are voting for mayor, and I highly recommend you get out there and vote. I personally would vouch to have you vote for Republicans and get the Democrats and the liberals out of office, if there are any. But either way, as long as you're getting your voice heard, if you don't go out and vote, you can't have any right to complain later on. And I tell that to people in my life that, you know, they don't go out and vote, and then they want to complain about, you know, Trump or complain about anybody, and it's like, well, then you should have gone out and voted. You know, one vote doesn't necessarily change anything, but at least you're getting it out there, because if you get 25, 30, even up to 300 people that don't normally go out and vote, and they go out and vote and they vote for the same person because they're all fed up with whatever, that can change an election. That can easily change an election. And, you know, I know in America, especially for president, we go by the Electoral College, where it doesn't go by popular vote, which there are pros and cons to each, and I get it. Like in 2000, Al Gore won the popular vote, but George W. Bush won the electoral votes. And then again in 2016, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote and Donald Trump won the electoral votes. And the reason for that is, well, it evens out the playing field, so to speak. Because when you take, for instance, the, how the citizens of the U.S. are, you know, laid out, so to speak. You have New York and Boston and, you know, Los Angeles and California where, you know, Los Angeles, New York City, Boston, and all these places where they're crammed in together, okay? Big city, big, huge city where you got 2 or 3 million people in this one little area. But then you've got places in Montana, you know, where you have literally 1,000 people for the city. And so what the Electoral College does is it really kind of evens the playing field. However, it could be changed. And what I suggested was breaking it down to, you know, municipalities, because the way the Electoral College works, and for those of you that don't know, and for those of you that are listening abroad, because I do have a very big French listen for people, but what it is each state is represented by the number of representatives in the House of Representatives, okay? So, for example, the House of Representatives is made up of a number of people from each state based on geographic area, whereas the Senate is a fixed amount, two senators per state, which is why there are 100 senators in Washington in terms of the country's Senate. However, with that said, how it's broken up is, for example, in Connecticut, we have 8 electoral votes because we have 8 representatives in Congress. And while I'm thinking of it, let me just kind of give the breakdown of here we go, electoral votes by state. Okay, let's get over there. All right, so Connecticut has 7. Okay, so that's because we're broken down into 7 representatives. Okay, in order to win the presidency, you need to have 270, which is the majority of electoral votes. Okay, and that was put by the 23rd Amendment, And it's simply because you had no, it was hard to count. It was hard to allow, like we saw in the 2016 election, the majority of people in New York alone, okay, pushed the popular vote. But they don't. That majority of people don't speak for the entire majority of the state or of the country. So they had to put in there, you know, for it. So the next presidential election is on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. So again, I recommend you get out there and vote for Donald Trump to give him a second term. Now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's broken down. You get the amount of representatives you have plus your 2 senators. So Connecticut, like I said, has 7. So we have 5 senators in Congress, and then the 5 representatives in Congress and 2 senators. I believe that's how it is. Alabama has 9. Alaska has 3. Arizona has 11. California has 55. New York has 29. California by far has the most. And Texas has 38. So, and Florida has 29, amazingly. So that's the amount of, so if you take, the amount of people that are in a concentrated area compared to the people in a less dense area, it doesn't even out. It doesn't go correct, it doesn't even out. Let me just put it that way. So that's why we do that. But anyways, tomorrow, or today I should say, is the election for municipalities, for local government, for local alderman, local treasurer, local whatever, mayor. And I will be voting Republican, and I will be voting to keep Aaron Stewart in the mayor's quarters there in the town hall for New Britain. So and she's doing a great job for New Britain. So I recommend you highly go out there. Last year she did kind of have gubernatorial aspirations, but she ended up dropping out of the race, which I really kind of mad that she did. I think she could have beat this idiot that we have in office and governor in Connecticut now, Lamont, who's just Dan Malloy Jr., and actually even worse if you can imagine. But that's what it is. So I recommend you get out there and vote. Get your voice heard, because if you don't vote, you have no reason to complain if something doesn't go your way. All right. With that being said, again, I want to thank you all for listening here on Anchor.fm. I've decided for the first time ever to participate in No Shave November. And what that is basically you are saying that you're not going to shave, and whatever money you would spend on your shaving needs, whether it's shaving cream, razors, whatever, that you would donate it to, cancer awareness. And they're working with St. Jude's and one other nonprofit organization, another organization that helps with cancer awareness and fighting cancer. So I highly recommend. The link is on the Anchor.fm page, so go to sportswireaudio.com, which brings you to our Anchor FM page, and then the link is there, no-shave.org /member/Vinny AAU1. So go over there, donate. I don't really care so much about you supporting the show as I care about you helping cancer research. I lost my grandfather back in 1989 to, I believe it was colon cancer. I was young. I really didn't know much about it at the time. But as I've gotten older, people that I've known have, gotten breast cancer. And they fought it and beat it, and which is great. It's really great. Not to mention Roman Reigns with his leukemia diagnosis, which is also I believe it's a bone cancer or blood cancer. So I highly recommend that, and if you're willing to go out and help out, I'll probably put the link in the description page, or the description of this show. So definitely help out. With that said, I want to thank you all for listening. I'm not going to go over too much wrestling or sports today because that was the whole point of doing the daily show. It wasn't always going to be about wrestling. It wasn't always going to be about one subject. We were going to do different subjects every single day. And for the most part, over the past, 2-3 weeks that we've been doing the daily show, it's been all about wrestling. So very little about anything else. So today I just wanted to kind of talk from the hip and give you guys out there, just go out there and help out. We're getting into November. This past Sunday at my church, the Greater Hartford Church of Christ, we had our cancer awareness / cancer survivor service. And just when you find out people that that you've gone to church with for a while, that you've interacted with, that they have beaten cancer or had a loved one succumb to the disease, it's hard. And cancer is one of those things that you don't screw with. They have made leaps and bounds to find it, but to fight it and to find cures for it. But still, one in 5 men and 1 in 6 women throughout their in their lifetime will be diagnosed with some type of cancer. So it's a serious subject. So go out there and really, I guess the whole thing is to just really show you care, help out, donate to a cause, help them find cures. They're finding cures all the time that can combat some of these other forms of cancer that are quote unquote unbeatable, that are detected late. And a lot of it could be the food we're eating and the garbage that we're eating. When it comes to processed foods, fast foods. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to sit here and give you statistics from research tests and everything, because that's not who I am, and I never have been that. But this month, while we head into Thanksgiving, instead of spending your money all on food for Thanksgiving meal, a couple things you can do to help people. You can go out and, number one, get some food and donate to the local soup kitchen, food pantry, to help out those that are less fortunate. I know at Stop and Shop, they have a box where you could literally, I think it's pay $5 or $10 to donate that box to the food pantry. And just take the time to help out. KC 101, or I should say Clear Channel Communications in Hamden, iHeartRadio, they do their annual Stuff-a-Bus. And they wanted to stuff the school buses with, turkeys and the trimmings. And if you go to ShopRite and, if you shop at ShopRite and you spend $400 from, I think, like last month until almost Thanksgiving, you could earn a free turkey or turkey breast or ham or whatever. If you're in the position that you don't necessarily need a freebie, donate it. Definitely help out those that are less fortunate this year. Now more than ever, we have to pull together as a community, as a unity, as a human race. There's so much hate out there in the world. There's so much prejudice and racism and everything, and it's still there after all these years, And it looked like it was either quieted down or hidden or, less at the forefront of society before Obama became president. And honestly, even when, I think Obama preyed on the people that wanted change, and he made a lot of promises and he said a lot of stuff, and it was all talk because all he did was ruin this country. Until Trump came in to help to fix it. But racism was almost dead. And I don't want to say it was dead because there were still people out there that that were racists and everything, but it wasn't as widespread as it is now. It seems like Obama's presidency really opened up the wound of racism here in the country, which is sad because, you know, we've been through all this before, and a lot of people, and I'll say it, a lot of African Americans, black people, if you will, are have a chip on their shoulder and think white people owe them something because of slavery. And, the thing is, first of all, the first slave owners were actually black from Africa, and they sold other slaves to America. And, that's the part of history that kind of gets overlooked at times because they don't want to hear it, or we don't want to acknowledge that. We just think, oh, well, all the South people, the Confederate flag stood for slavery and racism. No, and it's like, but it's such an easy card to call and to say nowadays that it's just such an, look at the whole thing with Jordan Miles last week, okay? And I did quite a number of shows on it. Matt Kuhn did a couple of shows on it. And I'm sure every wrestling podcast out there did some shows about it. Here's the deal, okay? The race card is very easy to pull, okay? Instead of holding yourself accountable to whatever reason, for example, with Jordan Miles, he approved the design. Now, maybe he did approve the design on a white T-shirt. Fine, but you approved the design that it was, quote unquote, teethy or toothy. A big smile with white teeth with your name in it. You approved it. The fact they put it on a black shirt, it's irregardless. Okay? It was not done as a racist act. And that's the problem, is that it's always pulled as a race card. There are people that are in jobs that don't do their jobs properly, but employers are afraid to fire them because, the person is of a different race, and they'll cry racism, and I've seen it a ton of times, and it's sad. It's one of the easiest excuses to not hold yourself accountable. I'm not saying that all black people are bad workers. I'm not saying that at all, because there are a lot of them that are really great at what they do. No matter what area of whatever industry, career they're in, they do a fantastic job of. But here's the thing. Not everybody. Okay? First of all, nobody that's alive today has ever owned or ever been a slave. Okay? Other than corporate slavery, when you work for somebody and they take out, and they don't pay you what you're worth. That does exist, but that's everybody. That's widespread. That's whites, blacks, Asians, Mexicans, everybody. Nobody alive today has ever owned or been a slave. So nobody should have to, quote unquote, right the wrong for slavery. Okay? And I've talked about this before too. Okay? People need to grow a pair of balls and not be so sensitive towards a lot of things. Okay? And everybody's like, oh, well, you're white. You can't tell a black person what they should be or shouldn't be offended of, or what they shouldn't say is racist. Well, you know what? That's where you got to erase that kind of dialogue. Because racism, in my opinion, and I've said it before, requires intent. You intentionally do something to say this person is different, or to make this item a difference, to give a different message or whatever. And that's just not true a lot of times. There was an ad, a marketing campaign, or an ad on TV or something. The store, I think it was clothing store, I think it was H&M maybe. And it showed, similar to the Jordan Miles garbage, part of the ad was a black family, a mother and her toddler son, and the son had a shirt on that said cute little monkey or the cutest little monkey or whatever. Now, yes, I get it. I understand. The connotation being that, a lot of black people were called monkeys. And that's wrong, obviously. But racism is in the eye of the person seeing it, okay? I look at it, my son is white, and my sister, his aunt, called him her little monkey all the time. And, and it's like, it's just as a toddler. Toddlers like to jump around and play and everything. And that's where that goes. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you see something as racist, you need to look in the mirror because you're the one that has the racist heart. If you think people are putting stuff out to make yourself look different. If you're going to say, oh, well, this shirt is racist. Okay, you're saying that because you're trying to say somebody else is racist, but that person put it out with a pure intention. So it's not racist. You're looking at it as racist. So that's on you. And that's the same thing that I would tell Jordan Miles. Is that obviously you have a racist heart if you think that something like that is racist. And that's the point that I had been trying to get across. Okay. So that's that. And I've been going on for, over 20 minutes now. But this is one of those Sportswire shows. So I want to thank you all for listening. Again, my name is Vinny Apsella. You can follow me on Twitter at @VApsella_SWE. Follow Sportswire on Twitter and Instagram at Sportswire Audio. You can go to sportswireaudio@gmail.com to email us whatever you may want. Or go to sportswireaudio.com, brings you to our anchor.fm page. And from there, you can go ahead and donate to my No Shave November account and pledge a donation. So thank you all for listening. My name is Vinny Apicella. You can find us on every major podcast platform that you could think of. I am working on iHeartRadio. I am working on a couple of different ones. So thank you all for listening. My name is Vinny Apicella. We'll see you tomorrow on the Sportswire.